Hello, my name is Aaron Lewandowski, and today I want to share with you incredibly wonderful soup for winter time and for fall. It's a warming soup. Its origins are in Vietnam, pho. I don't pronounce it right, but the main ingredients that I like to use are cinnamon, and I like to use star anise. I like to use ginger root. I like to use lots of shallots. I like to use American ginseng, and that's something I've just added in. It's a personal preference. It helps in this season. It helps open our lungs. It helps boost our chi and keep our immune system strong. I use a lot of green onions, and I also use jalapeno pepper. And I use whatever vegetables are in season right now. I'm growing some wonderful mustard greens, some Asian mustard greens. These are really yummy right now. Chop these up and you put them into your soup. So what I do to make my broth is I start with my star anise. I usually use about 7 different star anises, 7 to 10. I use one big piece to 2 pieces of cinnamon sticks. This is a meat broth or a chicken broth, so I'll use a whole chicken in here with 4 shallots and let that simmer and cook for an hour and a half. So you're really getting the broth out of the meat, out of the chicken. You're getting bone broth out of the bones, and you're getting a lot of good flavor out of all the herbs and spices. You're also wanting about 7 pieces of ginger in that original broth, and you let that simmer for an hour and a half. I'm also making a vegetarian broth here, which is just a basic vegetable broth. I use shallots. Again, I'm using my star anise, my cinnamon and ginger, and I'm using carrots, and I also used celery in this one. Again, I'm letting the vegetables and herbs all simmer together for an hour and a half. So once we've let those simmer and the flavors really come out, then we're going to add our vegetables that we want to eat in the soup. So whatever vegetables you have in season. I'm using green onions, I'm using more shallots, I'm using carrots, I'm using some wonderful leafy greens, the Asian greens. You could use bean sprouts, you could use daikon radish, you could use a number of different vegetables. For the vegetarian soup, I'm using tofu as my protein base. I'm using vermicelli noodles, wonderful vermicelli noodles. You can get these at an Asia Mart. You can get the Vietnamese pho vermicelli noodles. They're a wonderful noodle for making the pho soup. With the meat broth, I'm using fish sauce. So I'm doing 3 tablespoons of fish sauce at the end. This adds a wonderful, of course, fishy flavor. For those of you who don't like that, it's fine just to have the spices and the chicken together. One last thing that's a key is having some black pepper, a pinch of black pepper. So usually my soup, I do about 10 to 11 cups of water and a teaspoon of black pepper in there, so it really opens up the nasal passageways and opens our pores. I like to add some jalapeno at the end as well, which again is going to open up our breathing, our lungs, help us in these winter months to warm us up and open our pores. So I hope you enjoy this wonderful soup. Enjoy!